Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto Wills, your host. Thank you so kind of being a part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you. Why am I late? Because I can't get the sound, my actual sound to hear. I can't hear videos or anything. Lucky for today, I don't have any videos because of yesterday. And Bridge, I'm glad you missed me yesterday. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I decided that a freeze is coming. That same freeze that's hitting you guys in New York, it's elsewhere. It's going to be coming here to Texas, and I want to have two cars in the garage. So I want to have Linda's car and Ash's car in the garage. I'll keep mine outside. But the garage with all the stuff that we brought back from Ashley in DC was filled up. So I'm cleaning it up, getting rid of a whole lot of crud, etc. So I said, I'm going to do that. So what it meant is that I had to prepare a show. So I prepared that show that included Robert Reich, a very important, I think it was a very important piece that Robert Reich did with us at Coffee Party a few years back. And I really want, and by the way, and I did get the generator ready. I have a little one, the one that went bad. Remember, I told you it lasted 13 days and then disappeared. The generator, I got it fixed. I got it all up and running, and I tested it out, made sure it was all running fine. So I ran it for about 30 minutes to make sure, since it had some crud in it, I know. And it turned out okay. So I got that part done. And then I got, tons of stuff out of the garage. By the end of the day, I've spent 7 hours on that stuff. My back is no use to me right now. But hey, that's how it goes. Anyway, let's welcome all our great people in here. Welcome, Lee Grant. Welcome, Eric Hayes. Welcome, Bruce Pollard. Welcome, of course, E2247, British MCP. May Wood, and the one and only the unvulnerable AVQ, Senor Rudnan. How are you doing today, folks? Anyhow, you're going to have to help me with the show today, folks. You got to help me with the show today. I need you guys to bring topic after topic after topic. I do have a topic, but I prefer your topics, generally speaking. But I do have a topic to discuss, but I have no videos. I was too tired last night to come in and cut videos and all that kind of stuff. So forgive me, please. I beg thee your forgiveness. I make sure to provide all that stuff that you don't need to sit down on your own to watch. So again, forgive me. All right, from Michael Rudnan, New York Times. The Ways and Means Committee will vote on making Trump's taxes public. Their vote is expected. They already voted. Their vote is expected to end the battle that the Democrats in the House are waging since 2019 when they began trying to vote overseas. Let me just tell you, that vote already occurred last night, and they are releasing all his taxes with redactions, meaning to protect people's personal information, etc. I think it should have been done. Nixon proved that needs to be done. Nixon actually ended up having to release his own. Did you guys like the new mic thing that I put together? Nobody mentioned it. I did it. I said, my folks are going to say, Berto, we like the new mic. You know, I bought the little piece for it, and I did all the graphics myself. Thought you would make it better for you all, make a better picture, better image for you all. Okay, continue on. E2247 says, hello, relatives. Today's visit will be the greatest ever visit. As usual. I love you, E2247. You know that. Let's see what else we said. Brij missed me from yesterday. I missed you too. I miss Peeps from yesterday. Absolutely so. Eric Hayes says, here's some capture of carbon for you. Where's that? Power Mag, Net Power's first Helium Cycle 300 gas-fired project will be built in Texas. I got to check it out. That would be good, okay? I mean, if they're capturing it while we make the transition, that is excellent, Eric. Thank you for finding that. And I don't know, I don't think Power Mag is one of those right-wing rags that don't give you the truth. So good for you, bro. Good for you, my brother. Good for you. Keep getting good information. All right, let's see. We got Eric Hayes says, Egberto trying to get my generator going, but not starting. What was your secret? Let me tell you what to do. Go to the hardware store. There is first of all, take the stuff off the carburetor. Take the filter off the thing, and then go ahead and buy this spray. It's a quick start spray. Go to Ace or one of those stores. And what you do is you spray it into the carburetor and you start it. And that's going to be the initial push that it gets to start dragging the fuel, assuming your lines aren't blocked and assuming the carburetor isn't completely gunked up. Now, I had put some gas gas stabilizer in my gas last year. So even though I was in DC for 9 months and hadn't started it for over a year, the gas in it was still good. It wasn't gummy or anything like that. But that's what I would suggest. I would suggest buying that spraying it, taking the filter off, spraying it into the carburetor, and then getting it start. It'll start no matter what all right away, because that is like giving it a a hit. It'll start. The problem is getting it to keep going, and that is where it has to drag the gasoline from the tank. Make sure also that your gasoline switch is on, because that's one of the mistakes I made. I kept it off. Now, I have another small generator as well, the one that kept us through the hurricane, and that one still isn't starting. And the reason that one isn't starting is I think that one actually has a blockage in the gasoline, because it ran for about 10 minutes and then it conked out and stopped. So check that out. Okay, you want a heavy topic? Maybe it should wait, but there's something fishy about global warming politics and science. Tell me more, Bruce. I'm interested to hear. Tell me more. I don't know what you mean, but I'd like to hear what's the topic. What is the fishy thing that you're looking at? That sounds, you can't leave an intriguing stuff like that and not tell me more, Bruce. Come on. Maywood says, y'all experiences a power outage out there? No, I don't. We don't have any power outages yet. But when the entire cold come, I expect that the grid probably will not hold up. And that's the reason I wanted to get my generator ready. Eric Hayes says, no freaking omnibus. Way too much pork. The pork, you're correct, but I don't think the pork is going where you think the pork is going. The real pork is to the defense department. It's to the defense industrial complex. It's a shame. Yvette Avery Errott says, afternoon, PDR Posse. How you doing, Yvette? Great to see you here. Michael Rudnan, Power Magazine is an upcoming site that hasn't gotten a proper review yet. Well, let's look at the stories. We can do the review ourselves. We can corroborate the stories that they're telling in there, so we can do that. But again, we'll see. Bridge MCP, want a video? 12 minutes. Ari Melber shuts down Trump insurrection lawyer like only he can. December 21st, 2022. I could do that, but I'd have to do some cuts in that one, Bridge. But I'm gonna look at your link later, because it's something that I probably would want to process. I can't do it just take it off of their site and throw it onto our video stream, because then I would not have had it added any value and I could get dinged for copyright. So what I do, if you notice, I bring it into the video, I make my cuts, etc., so that it's some value that I've added to it. And that's the whole thing behind it. Let's see what else we got here. From Michael Rudnin, let's see what we got. Maywood says, that's interesting site you're reading. Vattenfall will build 1.3 gigawatt offshore wind farm near Finland. That's great. New report shows EU solar installations rise nearly 50%. And they should, because they need to get off of the dirty energy from Russia, which is also helping their own wars, right? Let's see. Bridge MCP says carb junk. Carb cleaner works and using ethanol-free gas. You told me that. I learned that from you, that ethanol-free gas we probably should use. But tell me about the carb gunk, Bridge MCP, because can you put the carb junk as long as there's gas flow, or do you have to take it apart and clean it first? I don't know. I'm hoping that's something you can pour into the gas tank, run it for a while, and that goes ahead and clean things out. Let me know what you're saying. Daily Coast video. Eric, Daniel Lee should see today. January 6th committee releases mortgage montage showing official news there were no 2020 election fraud. I'll check that out as well. E2247. Michael Ronan says, New Yorker here. I think the last time we had a brownout was 2003. And New York used a lot of energy. And I remember during one hurricane when things kind of went kabunk. All right, there is no wetness. There is no wetness to the freeze, so power should be fine. Better get the pipes taken care of. Me and my wife going to put some towels around the pipes on the outside. I'm going to do some periodic flows. The last time we had this real bad thing, I went ahead and did some on and off things, right? Eric Hayes says, would better to have it than not in the planning of getting whole home natural gas generator. I am not going to, let me tell you, Eric, I want my generator to be off grid completely. That's the reason I stuck with the gasoline generator. Because if the gas pump goes down, you're also out of gas. Remember, when we had the failure of the grid, one of the failures of the grids was because the gas flow going to the power stations were abruptly cut. So they couldn't get enough gas flow. So we got to be careful of that. All right. Bruce says, studying global warming shows that the increase in CO2 CO2 is maybe not such a bad thing. Read at thebestschools.org. There are videos of him that could be used in a blog episode. I'm definitely going to have to read that, but we have to find out the sourcing of an article like that. Okay. Because remember that, and I think I discussed this on my show earlier today, we have to remember that the Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation, and a lot of other right-wing think tanks that don't operate, that you immediately see them as right-wing, have a tendency to go ahead and give bad information that seems plausible, and they try to release it at reputable. I don't know. I got to take a look at that before I go ahead and just massive look at it. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. There is no witness. Bridge says, Egberto is from Coffee Party from Lancaster News. Okay, Lancaster News. Lancaster News have some issues. Although my friend actively promotes Lancaster News. But I think Lancaster sometimes have some issues. Lancaster has a wave of being very, what is the word? Libertarian. And we'll see. I'll take a look at it, Bruce. I'll definitely look at that. May would say, yeah, that makes sense, especially considering the way Texas does maintenance. Yep. We also have Michael Rodman to Pollard saying, don't know that website is not listed with media bias fact check. Yeah, we need to check out the sourcing. So, hey, Rodman, that's your task, brother. Let me know if the sourcing is good. Eric Hayes says, interesting dilemma with possible indictment of bad orange man, but if he gets off, it will blow up in the politics face of accusers. That's true. Maywood actually has improved much, and this summer was the test, no blackouts. It's amazing that we're talking blackouts in the United States of America. We thought that was something that happened in Panama and Latin America and the Caribbean. And to see that I came to the United States and had to live through that, it's a sad thing. Daniel Edo says, I'm surprised to learn Egberto is ignorant of the battery solar generators on the market. Why? I'm not ignorant of everything. I mean, I'm not knowledgeable of everything. I would hope that all of you that are listening to me can actually give me info as well. You guys read too. So Daniel, if you're trying to embarrass me, sir, I never get embarrassed because I don't know something. I get embarrassed when I would be embarrassed if somebody tried to teach me something and I just let it go. So no. But generally speaking about battery and solar generators, I'm pretty apt at that though. So I don't know what you're talking about there. Anyhow, Bridge MCP says, yes, they are iffy, but it was Coffee Party. Take a listen. I will. Absolutely will. Michael Rondon says to Bruce, just to be clear, the consensus of climate scientists regarding global warming is over 99.9%. There's only a handful of scientists outside that consensus, and the number of papers that call into questions are single digits. Yeah, but let me just say one thing in that regard, sir. I'm with you there, but I'm also wanting to say one thing. One of the important things about science is that we always work with the best information. Let me give an example. It could be that, and I'm just using this is just a hypothetical, okay? Just a hypothetical. It could be that carbon at a certain level, because of its interaction with all other gases that could cause global warming, behaves one way. And that at some higher level, I am not, this is just a hypothetical. At some other level, the dynamics change. That's a possibility. I don't know. And that's why I say we have to let the science dictate. And that's what I intend to do all the time. And if for some reason it dictates something otherwise at some other time, we act on it. That's why we are scientists, right? We only act on what's proven. Okay, and I think we've proven so far carbon dioxide increase, global warming. If later on something else happens with a different level, we'll find out. Eric Hayes says, Daniel Ledo, too expensive. Let's see, California blackouts. Eric Hayes, Daniel Ledo says you should be embarrassed to embrace gasoline technology when convenient. No, I embrace gasoline technology when I don't have another option, right? In other words, I don't want us to stop selling gasoline right now because we don't have enough infrastructure yet for all electric cars 100% on the road. We don't have enough. It's just a material fact, right? All right, Bree says you can use carb cleaner in the gas or the carb, but turn off engine and disconnect the negative battery terminal. Oh, so you can throw it into the gasoline is what you're saying. Got you. Okay, Macaroni says the idea that global warming is real and driven by human industry is no longer in question by the scientific community. Nearly all actively published climate scientists say humans are causing climate change. Surveys of the scientific literature are another way to measure scientific consensus. A 2019 review of scientific papers found the consensus on the cause of climate change to be 100%. And 2021 study concluded that over 99% of scientific papers agree on the human cause of climate change. The small percentage of papers that disagreed with the consensus either cannot be replicated or contain errors. Eric A. says the guy was super mad at school board. Whoa, I'll check it out later. Michael Renner says the primary cause of global warming is coal burning, not gasoline. Good to know. Did know that. Think about H2O vapor increasing a runaway fashion as climate gets hotter. Bruce Pollard, since water vapor is the hottest greenhouse gas. And you know what's interesting is I think water vapor is a greenhouse gas and increasing heat creates more water vapor and we get what can I say? Lee Grant says, Egberto, I researched the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation and the Heritage Action's mission is to promote human flourishing by restoring self-governance to the American people. As the Everyday Americans outpost is Washington, D.C., Heritage promotes and advocates for public policies based on principles of limited government, economic freedom, a robust civil society, and a strong national defense. In recent years, these principles have been under attack by the leftist ideologues running America's elite institution. Let me push back on that, Brother Grant, and it goes this way. Look at what it says. Heritage promotes and advocates for public policies based on the principles of limited government. That's a bad principle. Not limited government, but right-sized government. Limited government automatically says, I want it as small as possible, irrespective of. So therefore, I put that as one of my high things. And by the way, any organization is going to put out a statement like that. It is going to put out a statement like that. The Heritage Foundation is a breakdown from the Powell Manifesto. And the Powell Memo pretty much states what they had to become. And that's who they've become. Their papers are not scientifically based. Their papers cherry-pick data to promote the policies that you have. Limited government, strong natural defense. What does strong natural defense mean? I don't know. If you have all the atomic bombs in the world, how much more do you need? That's my point. We have gone past that. Strong defense has different meanings. Robust civil society, they don't support robust civil society. Economic freedom, they don't support economic freedom. They don't. But we're going to sit down again on a cup of coffee and Lee, we're going to have to stop talking about we're going to sit down on a cup of coffee and we need to just do it. Let's do it in the first week of next year. Let's do it the first week of next, because I want to reach you. Canada, Bridge MCP says Canada to end international fossil fuel finances. With some exceptions, Canada's long-awaited plan to end government public financing of the international fossil fuel project is here at last, and despite some loopholes, represents a major milestone, environmental group says. The guidelines announced by Natural Resources Minister Jonathan Wilkinson on December 8 followed through on Canada's commitment to the 2021 Glasgow Statement, in which nearly 40 countries and institutions pledged to use public resources to support a clean energy transition and unabated international fossil fuel finances by the end of 2022. The pledge only applies to unabated fossil fuel projects, those that don't use technology to capture greenhouse gas emissions. Unabated or not, all fossil fuels create planet warming pollution when burned, and therefore no way to capture the greenhouse gas emission coming out the tailpipe. The policy contains exemptions of natural gas, hydrogen made using fossil fuels, and carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Good. Michael Renner says the Heritage Foundation is a bad website. Media bias fact check. Overall, we rate the Heritage Foundation bias based on conservative policy positions and funding from right-leaning organizations. We also rate them mixed for factual reporting due to promoting misleading claims regarding global warming and the health danger associated with tobacco. Exactly. Heritage Found. Okay, let's see what else we got. Limited government. Yes. I don't know what does limited government means. I especially like the part about left ideologues. Come on, man. You're a friend with the left ideologue, but I believe in facts, right? Michael Runner says limited government, curb military spending and the drug war, open the borders, make abortions legal, right? Hey says strong fiscal balance and management. British says in order for any portable or home standby generator to operate, thank you for this info, British. To operate efficiently, they will require regular routine maintenance, particularly because they are typically not used very often. If your generator doesn't start when first attempts to use it after a prolonged period of time, the carburetor could be cause of temporary power problems. That what I do, Eric, is turn off the gas, then run in and let the gas out of the carb. Yeah, that is when you're putting it up for the night. I mean, for long haul. Daniel says, LOL. So Egberto's childish view is that if you have nukes, then that's all you need for national defense. Oh, God. No, that's not the case. That is not the case at all. Let me just tell you guys, I just received a wonderful call from my daughter who is doing some good stuff. And look at what she said. She said, oh, I didn't realize he was on the radio. And what did she do? She called me while I was on the radio. And of course, I picked it up because, that's my baby. But anyhow, let's see what else we got here, folks. Canada is a mess. That Prime Minister is wreaking havoc whenever he can. Just look at his anti-trucker statement. Canada is run much more humanely than America. And Daniel, that's not true, Daniel. I don't expect us to use the atomic bomb. I'm saying we have so much. We have the atomic power if we wanted to just blow crap up, but we have enough hardware to run several wars over. That's why we could sustain Afghanistan at the same time we sustain, well, not at the same time, but we sustain Ukraine and we can sustain all these other places, okay? There is more than enough. We just keep building, and then throwing stuff to giving it to police departments and all of that when we decide to upgrade. Come on. That's our money. Eso es nuestro dinero. Come on. Michael says, let's talk about those leftist ideologues, the real Christopher Titus. Let's talk about the radical left. The GOP is great at coming up with couple word phrases to describe the other side. I'd like to define what the radical left is. The radical left is about the freedom of the vote. Yes. The radical left is about the freedom to be who you are. Yes. The radical left is about the freedom to marry who you love. Yes. The radical left is healthcare for everybody. Yes. The radical left is infrastructure. The radical left is making sure rich people pay their fair share. The radical left is about the Constitution, and the radical left is about standing for America and what our values are. That's radical. If that is radical, that means all of you right-wingers in our chat should be radical as well, because I know you believe that. So why do you try to make an issue of it? That is radical. What that means is you people on the right, this is from Rudnan now, you people on the right are not part of America. You co-opted the word patriot. But nothing you do is patriotic. Patriotic is taking care of your own, folks. Rudnan is right. Patriotic is taking care of your own. You should have heard the call I got today at KPFT. A guy said, "Oh, thank you. I listened to you and you've changed." And there was one right winger that called and actually pointed out, actually, I think it was on I don't remember if it was a chat or the call, and actually said, "Oh, I see it now, things that I hadn't seen before." Look, man, open your minds. You and I going for some coffee, Lee Grant. We're going for some coffee, dude. We're going for some coffee. Anyone interested in why Ukraine president came to the United States? That was to stick a finger into Putin's eyes, okay? In other words, it's okay to help them from afar. But what happens when you come to the United States? Are they going to be there for you? Well, Zelensky is here, and he's speaking to Congress tonight. I want to hear what he has to say. Now, let me be clear about Ukraine, all right? Let me be very clear. I'm not a fan of Ukraine at all. I'm not a fan. Because remember, these are folks who, when some brothers from Nigeria and others were trying to get on the train, they put them on hold. So they suffer from the same disease Russia has, the United States have, and all these other guys, dividing people by hue and treating them accordingly. So I'm not like super thrilled with donating billions of dollars while people in the ghettos, the barrios, and Appalachia are still suffering, okay? But I understand. I acquiesce to the president and why he believes we should give them all that money. Anyhow, let's get busy. Biosphere is defined as a thin covering of planet Earth that contains and sustains life. Think about how thin it is and fragile. You're absolutely right, E2247. Paul Fleming is in the house. He says, this is the reason why grocery prices are skyrocketing. Kroger brands, Ralph, Dillon's, Food for Less, Fred Meyer's, Harris Testers, King Sooners, Mariano's, Albertson brands, Safeway, Acme, Hagen, Jewel Osco, Shaw's Pavilion. They won't take their hands out of our pockets. And think about how many of them are consolidated, Paul Fleming. That's the idea. And that is what we got to fight. That is what I'm trying to do with our programming, right? I told them at KPFT today, we have to have a media that exposes more of this stuff, which we don't. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, Ukrainian president coming to get better arms for their struggle. More longer range HIMARS missiles. Yeah, again, good. I want Russia and Ukraine, let them beat up on themselves, okay? And we'll help. That's what we do. We sell arms and we make money in the process. In this case, though, the money the arms dealers are making are taxpayer dollars, right? In other words, it's not Ukraine using its resources to buy the arms. We are giving it to them. Well, we're giving it to the industrial complex. Bridge MCP says, Egberto Willis, total bilateral aid commitments to Ukraine between January 24th and November 2022 by type and organization has a chart in euros for show. All right, I'll put that up on the screen. If you ask Bridge, you know we're going to put it on the screen, girlfriend. Whoa, allow all. Oh, yeah, it's just the cookie cutter. All right, let's see. It looks like I'm going to have to copy that because I don't have that in the right place. And you guys give me a lot of work when you give me this, but you guys run the show. All right, here it is. This is from Bridge MCP and all the monies that were given to, the United States gave 47 billion. The EU gave 34, we'll call it 35 billion. The United Kingdom, 7 billion. Germany, 5. Why do they have Germany separated from the EU? Germany is the EU. Oh, I see. Those are institutions. They're saying private institutions. Oh, private institutions gave $34.9 billion? Wow. That is huge. That is unbelievable, actually. But I believe you. Okay. All right. Eric says Europe should step up from Ukraine money-wise. They have. Lee Grant says radical left is open borders and a welfare state. Lee, How long have you been listening to Politics Done Right? Lee, you're a supporter of Politics Done Right. If I tell you the radical left is not into open borders specifically, even though I believe in open borders, hell, the borders were open when the pilgrims came here. The only difference is this. We had open borders in America, the American hemisphere. They came over here, and after they came over here, they said, genocide time, we want all the land. These people that are coming in from the south, they just want a job. They don't want to take the land. They don't want to kill the people that's here in the land to get them out. So why are you going to blame them? Why aren't you on our side? You should be. These people are not looking to execute genocide. What our forefathers did, genocide. Come on, man. Get with the program. Daniel Ledo says, it's truly fascinating me how Egberto doesn't even remember what he says 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, he said, if a country has atomic bombs, that's all you need. You better rewind the tape. I said we have all the things that we need. Rewind the tape, Ledo. Sometimes you miss the point. He then 5 minutes later denied he said it. Are you okay, Egberto? Are the meds kicking in? Oh my God, my blood pressure pills are making me crazy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Lee Grant says, radical left is boys are girls and girls are boys. That's not true. There are a lot of trans that are Republicans. Remember that? There are a lot of trans that are Republicans. They just can't be honest about it. Eric A. says, no blank checks anytime, anywhere. Oversight is always needed. I agree, Eric. We are in the same level. Eric, could we possibly be agreeing on something, Eric? We are. Bridge MCP says, Egberto Willis, total bilateral commitment. I print that up on the screen. That's on the screen from Bridge MCP, guys. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got ABQ, warmer atmosphere can hold more water in it. Makes locally cooling atmosphere dump more rain and snow. That's true, and that's what we're seeing right now. Eric says, Egberto, president said you should come 9/12/19 running of campaign. Nah, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Egberto Willis, you get a new mic. Or you at you at the studio. No, this is my new mic. I'm glad you noticed it. I've been trying to get you guys to notice it for some time. Why didn't you guys notice it before? You hurt my feelings. I spent a lot of time making it. I'm hurt. You know I love you, Breach. All right, Michael says, radical left here, I want rapid vetting, not open borders. As it comes to immigrants and refugees, nearly all of them are welcome here. Make sure they are not coming here for nefarious purposes. Then resettle them where they can find jobs. They're coming here to escape hardship, for better lives for themselves and their families. You know, the American dream. Exactly. Exactly. Ledo says there are a lot of progressives that are communists. They just can't be honest about it. Define communists. No, we're not. No, we're not. We don't believe in taking all land away and all that kind of stuff and making the government produce everything. That's communism. I tell you something, though. I do have issues with land. To this day, look, I own my house, all right? Don't get me wrong. I'm partaking of this stuff, right? But I have a question for everybody, and I want you guys to answer it honestly. Let's assume everybody has the option to buy land. And eventually we run out of land to buy. Does that mean then that some folks will never have? I don't know how you buy land. I haven't calculated that in my mind yet. I can understand renting land. I can understand owning the homes on the land. But actually owning the land itself from the topsoil underneath, there's something about not being able to own any of the earth that is with me. That's something that the indigenous people feel as well. And I've been learned to think that way. And again, I will, as long as our laws say you own land, that's a law. But I would hope that we would get somewhere else. Michael says, communists, the next time you see me talking about killing the billionaire class, then you can call me that. P.S. Obvious sarcasm for those who don't know the difference between communism and democratic socialism. Preach, Rudnin, preach. All right, today's subject. Oh, there goes another message. There are many, many GOP peeps that are into autocratic behavior. You're absolutely right. All right, today's subject, and it's sort of a spin-off from what I did at KPFT. It has to do with the title of this thing from Wall Street on Parade, A Citizen's Guide to Wall Street. And I got it sent by me from Miss Martin. But here it goes. It says the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, announced on June that he was going to tackle the structure of U.S. stock market, ostensibly to make it fairer and to the little guy. His plans were released that Wednesday in a mountain of paper, and even Wall Street veterans are having difficulty digesting it. See it here. All right. While the overall thrust of the proposed changes appears to be provided more transparency in order to execution, the proposals fail to address key structural issues that have allowed the U.S. stock market to operate as an institutional wealth transfer system, moving vast amounts of money from the pockets of the average Americans to the richest. I want you guys to listen to this. This is a trip. The stock market should not be priced based on what somebody believes it's worth. It should be based on the total asset value of that company. And then everything else should be the stockholder profit, taxes, and that stuff about executives getting bonuses. Why? They are not the ones doing the job. If a executive gets a bonus, every employee should get a bonus too. They're the ones doing the work. But anyway, the way it works right now, the dividends is paid to just the stockholders. Okay, continuing. Both Congress and the SEC were put on notice on March 30th, 2014, that the U.S. stock market is rigged. Again, this is from the SEC itself. That is the date the best-selling author and Wall Street veteran Michael Lewis was interviewed on 60 Minutes about the allegations in his just-released book, Flash Boys, A Wall Street Revolt. Hey, remember, this is 2014, guys. 2014. Both Congress and the SEC were put on notice the interview opens with Steve Kroft asking Lewis what the headline is for his new book. Lewis responds, United States stock market, the most iconic market in the global capitalism, is rigged. It's rigged. That is from the inside, folks. When asked to explain just who it is that's rigging the stock market, Lewis states that it's the combination of those stock exchanges. I mean, you guys have to understand these things, okay? It's not just anybody saying the stock market is rigged, right? It is the insiders telling us that the stock market is rigged. It's rigged. When asked to explain who is doing the rigging, Lewis states that it's a combination of these stock exchanges, the big Wall Street banks, and high-frequency traders. You know those computers that trade? They automatically look at the deltas and they trade millions of shares. In other words, they produce nothing. They just trade things up and down, up and down, up and down. Flashboy revealed in great detail how U.S. stock exchanges are selling access to trading data that the general public does not have access to by allowing high-frequency trading firms and Wall Street mega banks and their brokerage firms to co-locate their trading computers alongside the computers of the stock exchange. And let me tell you, I'm a computer guy, okay? By having those computers that do these trades right next to the actual computers at the stock market, it gives them millisecond advantages. Let me explain. If I am here with my computer and I'm trying to make a fast trade with the computers from otherwise, right? It takes several milliseconds to get there from Houston to Wall Street. But if your equipment is co-located at Wall Street and you have programs that actually says when the spread reaches this amount, make a trade, what immediately happens is you get priority over me, because while my transaction is traveling for 50 milliseconds, your transaction completes in 2 milliseconds. It's rigged. It's not an even playing field. The New York Stock Exchange was at one time the most respected stock exchange in the world. It's now become a pay-to-play venue for hedge funds, high-frequency traders, and Wall Street mega banks. And we shouldn't allow that. Like I said before, I think stock prices should be based on the asset value of a company. And things like EBITDA and all these different calculations should be out of it completely. All right, I'm going to leave that there for a while for you to think about it. Think about a rigged stock market. think about it being the center of capitalism. And if that is rigged, it goes to say, if stock market is rigged, capitalism, as we practice it, is also rigged. Think about it. And what does that say? That says we got a lot of work to do. Daniel Lido says, I'm a communist, but nobody should own land. The cognitive dissonance is disturbing. Again, you chose to hear what you wanted to hear. I said you should be able to rent land, own land, okay, who owns the land? This is my problem that I'm trying to figure out. Because when I hear indigenous people say, how can you own the land? How can you own the air? How do you own these things? How do you own the water that's fall from the sky? Which is what Texas tries to control. Can you really store your own water from rainfall? Again, it just takes a little bit of deep thinking, Daniel. Deep thinking. Egberto, Daniel intentionally misheard you again. He always does, to service purposes. Yvette Avery Harris says, do you ever really own land if you have to pay property taxes forever? That's a good point. That is a good point. I would rather pay rent on the land. Oh, you know something, Yvette? That's a very prescient point there, Yvette. Because I got to pay, you're right. You're right about that. Do you really own it, right? Because even if you're renting, you're paying. Yeah, again, that's why I said this is a subject that I'm not sure of. I got to do some more analysis on this subject about ownership of land, etc. Because there's also people who only own the topsoil. They don't have mineral rights to the land that they're sitting on. And if they find oil on that land, they can kick you off, drill, and then put you back on. So a lot of things to think about there. Eric K says, can't tax unrealized anything, just dumb. If you tax gain one period and then there's our losses, the next learn to unrealize anything. Yes, you do. And we do it right now. I thought you did taxes. You should understand how this works, Eric. Let me explain how taxes work. If I have a realized gain, and if later on I lose money, I have losses, I can write off those losses on future gains. So you're wrong. You know what the wealthy people want is low taxes on the gains and still be able to get their unrealized, get their losses to compensate against unrealized gains. They want to win on both sides of the equation. And if I could get you guys to focus, I'm talking about those of you who continuously try to make the wealthy like they're magnanimous. No, they're always trying to get more for nothing. Let's see. I want to see. Rudnin replies to Herod. Property taxes pay for school and local and social services. I'd be more worried about mortgages going unpaid and reverse mortgages where you lose your home after your death, leaving nothing for your kids. You should read the article I did on reverse mortgages. Carl Cox says, stock market, commodities, market form, subsidies are rigged in favor of the mega rich. True. Bruce Pollard says, I like your idea of basing stock prices on true value, but eBase would be hard to evaluate. No, not really. Again, here's what I'm saying, man. All the assets that create an e-business, right, are things like computer hardware and all of that. You add all of that stuff up. You don't add up. The other things are expense, and we do it right now. In fact, we kind of do that with what's called a 529, not 529, the 179 expense. Like if I buy a computer, I want to expense that against my income right away, right? Because I don't want to put it on depreciation over several years. So we kind of do that right now, but I want the true asset value. If that company dies today, at how much can it be liquidated, right? That is what it should be. And people will say, well, those things have depreciated. I don't even think we need to talk about depreciation. Depreciation was yet another giveaway, right? In other words, depreciation was I bought some hardware and I want to take an expense on that hardware every so often. I mean, I believe in 179 type expenses. If it costs that, that's what it costs. That's what we're talking about. And the reason why, well, depreciation has some more complex issues that I'd like to talk about, not today, some other time. Now we got, Michael says, stock market is a rich man's casino. We're the trend showing a barometer of rich men's feelings. I agree. You're right. Oh, I feel good about this company, the price goes up. I feel bad about this company, the price drops. I love the way you say that, Rednan. Let's see what else we got here. Those high frequency traders needs a penny tax. I agree with that. We could pay for Social Security with a penny tax. Egberto, please riddle this. Why, oh why, did I stupidly define biosphere as it rather than she who contains and sustains life? Why, oh why? Why did you define biosphere as she? It should be she. I agree. Daniel says the people who can take and hold the land, own the land. True. That's what we did. So don't complain if you want to get rid of ethics and somebody comes over here and decide they're going to take the land. They come here in some fashion and do it like we did. Just equal access to evil. Michael said, Egberto, most indigenous people have a concept of land ownership. They're just much better stewards than we are. I don't think it's ownership. I think it's rental. If I recall speaking to an indigenous friend, I understand that they said not owning land, but verify that. I'll tell you what, let's not leave that up in the air, Redden. If you can give me corroborating information as to what you said, and likewise myself, I'd love that. That's probably a best thing. Eric A. says, yes, you own land and property tax is necessary, punto final. I love the way you like to do that punto finale. I'm glad that I rubbed off on you, brother. You know I love you for it. Lee Grant says, Uncle Sam is the ultimate landlord then. Yeah, I don't mind doing that because Uncle Sam is with the people, right? And Carl Cox says, when the stock market goes up, mega rich get paid and most of the dividend. When it goes down, the mega rich don't lose much money. The bottom 99%, especially the bottom 90%, get the shaft either way. Exactamundo. LOL. Hey, Egberto from Ledo says, I got news for you. Everybody's trying to get more for nothing. I don't know. I'm not trying to get more for nothing. Maybe you are. I believe in giving back. And hell, I can tell you I've given back a lot. Mucho, 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 mucho. In fact, to my current detriment, but I have. All right. Eric K says, realize thus capital gains. Whoa. Not only wealthy has investment, try doing it before you bash it. Passing it down to is another true vehicle for real everyday citizens to not only be freaking rich, you love to bash it. Oh, wait a minute, Eric. Let's talk about bashing. You are willing to protect the Trumps of the world who wants to hide money, or like my friend, the millionaire that I'm going to be interviewing. I think we have set up for tomorrow. Let me see if he sent me an email back. Yep. Let's see. I'm going to have an interview tomorrow. It's available Eastern. Let's see. I'd be happy to set that one up. I've contacted Morris to ask availability for tomorrow. Yep. It seemed like, okay, he said that midday work. Well, that's great. Okay, I'll interview him at noon. That's fine. Noon Central. Let's see, noon, or you could do a 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern. I want to confirm that. I got the Patriotic Millionaire. I just got an interview with him. 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm setting it up right now. 1 p.m. Eastern. Please confirm. All right. I just set up that interview with the Patriotic Millionaire. Okay? Morris Pearl. So tomorrow I should be able to play you guys the Patriotic Millionaire. He's a millionaire who thinks that the tax system is rigged against the rest of us, and he wants to pay more taxes, and that's what he's fighting for. So it looks like I'm going to have an interview with him tomorrow. So we'll if I get it, I'll try to turn it around quickly enough so that we can play that tomorrow, because I love the guy. The guy really is doing what he needs to do. Yvette Avery Herod says yes, but if you fail to pay, they will come after it. Yeah, I've known people who've lost their land because they didn't pay their taxes. Yep. Biosphere as she is that reference to Mother Nature. And that's what it should be. Women nurture us. Women are the one who carry us. Yeah, I think the biosphere should be considered a she. Paul Fleming says Eric must be rich or just. Eric is not rich and Eric is not a bad person. Eric is a friend, just like you are a friend as well. Brother Fleming, I'd love to. Next time I'm in Atlanta, that I am not running through with my daughter's stuff, I'm going to give you a call up so we can and buy you some coffee. Go get some coffee. Just like I have gone to have some coffee with Eric before, but it seems like Eric needs another good schooling at Starbucks. Okay? Michael Renner says, patriotic billionaires are a rare example of wealthy people who go against their personal self-interest to make sure they pay their fair share so that society can flourish. They are the good exception among the wealthy. I love Maurice Pearl. I don't agree with Maurice Pearl on everything because I think Maurice Pearl is a true capitalist, okay? He's a true capitalist. He just wants to pay his fair share. I think there are some issues with capitalism that he would probably disagree with me on. I think the stock market is one place I think needs to be revamped. E2247 says, Egberto, Biosphere is a communion of subjects in which we are participants as relatives. Take the land and own it. You took it, dear Lord. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm still making up my mind on land. And I think Rudnan is doing some work on what most indigenous believe. Is it owned land or is it rented land? I think it is rented land. You're leaving early without giving us a response, Mr. Rudnan. You know I'm playing with you, man. I'm playing with you. All right, we are getting close to the time anyway. It's 3:55. And I need to just ask you guys for a little support here. Let's see what we're going to do here real quickly. What I like to say, Rich, real quick like. I would love for you to support Politics Done Right. The all-encompassing way to support us is at, and I brought up the wrong thing with all my links. I have a file where I keep all my links. Here we go. Please, if you want to support us, go to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. That is how you can find all the different ways to support us. Alternatively, you can support us at PayPal by going to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Or what I need a lot of now, I would love to get 100 between now and I'd love to get 100 Patreons between now and it starts at as little as $2.99. Bridge MCP, thank you. Love the mic and all PDR. Thank you for that super chat, Bridge. Love you, girl. Thank you for the super chat. All right, folks. And Patreon. You can support us at Patreon by going to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Okay? I need a lot of patrons. If you could give that link to people you know are looking for places to give some sort of a support for new organizations because they're wanting to support more active organizations before the new year is out, please give them that link, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Tell them you know Egberto. Let them know that you know Politics Done Right. Let them know that we do good work and give them a reason to support what we do. That is how you can help make sure that we continue doing what we're doing. And you know what? From the calls that I got today, I was so humbled. From the comments that I got today at KPFT, I was so humbled. You know? And I tell you why. Because when you're talking behind a camera and a mic, etc., you don't necessarily know if, you know, people are listening. We have thousands of people that are listening, right? But the one thing you don't know is if you're making a difference in the way they think, if the way they process things, if the way they're promoting things. And when they call into the program and say as much, it's great to see. Bridge, I'm not going to forget to do the video, but I want to ask you a favor, Bridge. Whenever you definitely want me to watch a video and stuff, please put it in not in the chat, but in either a Facebook message or a link or a text message or something. And the reason why I ask that is a lot of times when I'm going through the links, I forget and whatever, so help me out. And that goes for everybody. You guys want me to say, Egberto, I really want you to see that. I might not be able to do it right away, but if you guys are giving me something and you guys are doing research, that's what I do. That's what I do. Anyhow, I am going to have to get out of here. I want to thank all of you for listening to the program. I ask you so kindly to contribute to the program. I ask you so kindly to support us. We do good work. We do a lot of work. We do a lot of writing. And I think I need to go ahead and finish the garage. So I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.